Hey everybody, welcome to Kirks Grocery. We're excited to have you here this week. You can see on this rainy day the new Kirks Grocery sign with the new hours. New hours are Wednesday through Friday, 5 to 9. Shane is having about 5 people inside the building at one time. And I also think he might be doing some tours at 8 o'clock every night, but not tonight. Tonight, we're doing a live stream. Tonight is an evening with a man called Rossco. Why don't you follow me? Before we start our evening with a man called Rossco, I wanted to let you know we have a lot of fans of Sandy Dvarskas and her ceramics. Sandy has these new cups. They're called her COVID cups, and they document the COVID cases, the number of people who recovered, the date, and the number of people who passed away. We have 2 right now. There we go. Let's not drop that on the floor. We have 2 right now, and there are more on their way. So if you're excited about Sandy Dvarskas' COVID cups, featured in our own local Billings Gazette recently, definitely stop by, go on the website, or just reach out. Also, we have an exhibition coming up. There's Sandy. I'm waving at Sandy. Also coming up, we have an exhibition called Tread and Unravel. That exhibition has my work on the left and Terry Carson's work on the right. And as you can see, most of the work will have predominantly black or navy blue on a light ground. My work features oil paint and thread. And Terry Carson, you'll see a variety of work, including large-scale paintings and images etched in glass. Large images etched in glass for people who know some of his smaller work. We do have LB with us tonight. This is the 1-year anniversary of the day that we brought LB into our lives. He did come to Kirks Grocery on that first night. Maybe you were there. And now we have Stan helping us out again today. Stan, are you ready to head in the back?
Yeah,
see Rossco? Let's do it. Walk around LB. And let's see what's going on. We've got about 5 people with us right now. We like to change things up at Kirks. And so this time, we're going to start all the way in the back. See who we find. And what we found is Shane and Rossco. I think even with social distancing, maybe you two could scooch a little closer together so we get a better shot. Just a little? There we go. Nice.
Brochling.
Yes. Chris Martin says, I am ready to see Rossco.
Make sure you focus on his face.
Here he is.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Kirks world, Rossco.
Rossco.
Here he is. We're happy to have him. How did I meet Rossco? I'm going to start there, Rossco. Is that going to work for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
And then we're going to let you go.
Yeah, thanks to Bob Durden.
That's exactly how it was.
Yeah.
Bob Durden was over at the Yellowstone Art Museums where I met him. He's the curator prior to the current one. And after he did that, he opened an art gallery. And I went in there one day and I said, Bob, who in this town paints large? I've been seeing a lot of art that I loved in Billings. I've been living here a while. Tons of great art scenes, as I've talked a million times. But no one was working in a large scale. And he said, oh, you got to meet Rossco. So maybe I called you, you called me. Somehow we got together through Bob Durden.
Actually, on down,
Okay.
and we did some talking, and foolish guy, he was interested.
One, not only does he paint large paintings, I think all the paintings we've had through here, all but 2 have been 4 feet by 4 feet or within a couple inches of that. And then I think you brought in a 3 by 3 piece or so. And today you brought in one, the one that Curtis got, your collector Curtis.
Exactly, that was a smaller one, and then the one that you'll see later. It's about 4.5 feet by 30 inches, something like that.
Yeah.
It depended on the size of the cardboard.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's interesting about Roscoe's work. That was a year and a half ago or so. Roscoe came in. I instantly was like, this is great work. Maybe you can pan up. I don't know. This is Roscoe's work above us.
Already, but I like that gesture.
Ooh, let's hold this up. This one here.
Also,
this is a
we've
Roscoe.
had Sandy say hi to Roscoe, and we also have
Hi, Sandy.
Hey, Sandy.
Hey,
Kirk says there it is.
sweetheart.
This is a painting by Roscoe called To Protect and Serve. To protect and to serve.
Protect and serve.
And you want to give any actual background on that, or you just want to let them look at it? You want to just talk?
It was a period of time when they had the Black Lives Matter movement kicking off, and there were a lot of problems going on. And one of the things I've always thought about with being an artist was taking the events of the day and, like a historian would, record them. So that somewhere down the line they can say, this is what was happening during the artist's life.
Yeah.
And so it becomes part of an autobiography, basically.
Of your time on Earth.
On my time, well, yeah, on Earth. I've always had trouble with that.
Well, wherever we're at. Some of us are on Earth.
Yeah.
We're interacting on the earthly plane. But
It seems so confining.
so yeah, he had brought in he showed me his work, and instantly I was like, yeah, I mean, see a lot of expressionism in there. This one right here.
Ooh, we have somebody saying that, asking if anyone's having trouble with the video. Oh, no, it's better now. Okay. Just checking on our audience. The video is fine.
Yeah, please,
Hey, Chris,
audience out there.
Hey, Chris, that's my son.
Hey, Chris.
Special shout out to Chris saying hi.
And I gotta say hi to Mom, too.
Aw.
Yeah.
We have Deb Galantine saying, hey there, bro.
Yep, that's my sister.
Hey, Deb. She's been joining us multiple times.
yeah.
I've seen that name around. Deb, thanks for joining us. I'm happy to be hanging out.
She's
with
down in
your
Lubbock,
brother.
Texas, and so your viewer is down in Texas.
We have viewers in Texas.
I think New Jersey was one that you had.
We have some New York City.
Yeah.
We've been having some fun times.
Which is really the cool part of this whole thing that you do, because it's not like you have local artists viewing another artist. These are people that are all over the country.
Yeah, that's great.
And that's nice. That's, to have that kind of
It is. I mean, we live in Billings, Montana.
nationwide. Yeah.
So where we're broadcasting from, boom, coming at you live.
Well, ever since the computer, it really doesn't matter where you live. It used to be if you didn't live in New York City, you weren't getting anywhere with your art.
Mm-hmm.
Or San Francisco, places like that. Now you can be in New York City and or in Billings and still have New York City to deal with, and San Francisco. In fact, I got two pieces.
The first two pieces we sold by you went to San Francisco.
San Francisco.
I drove them down there. That was a fun drive.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous. It's been a long time since I hit San Francisco.
I sent you a
love
text
that
from
city.
City Lights. So one of the things, we no longer have it. You had the painting that had Ferlinghetti in it.
Yeah, right.
And it had City Lights on it. And that one ended up in San Francisco.
Yeah,
right? Wasn't that
exactly.
on the painting?
Yeah, it was. Florence Ferlinghetti has always been one of my heroes with the City Lights bookstore and City Lights Publishing. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of authors, poets, and that type of thing that would have you'd never heard of them. They wouldn't have had any exposure whatsoever if it wasn't for Lawrence. And so, subculture hero.
Well, yeah.
Also a subculture hero.
And we've got some shout outs from a bunch of people. Let me try to scroll them back. Will they scroll back from me? We've got the nephew is here from Kirk.
Oh, Kirk. Yep, that's my nephew.
Your sister said, hey,
Hi,
you're
Kirk.
welcome.
And his husband, Colby.
Colby!
Shout out to Colby and to Kirk. John Lodge.
Hey,
check in.
John.
John, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Local favorite.
I miss you. I haven't
Local
seen
man
you.
does
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
I saw John recently. He's been seeing his new work. Guys, he's working in a new studio. He's working these large format modulation paintings. You can imagine how John would tell it to
Yeah,
you.
he's on fire.
Yeah, it's great.
Nice.
He's going to be good.
Nice.
And
What
we
I wanted to get
also
back
have,
to-
just a quick shout out from Michelle.
Michelle's
In
my niece,
Massachusetts?
and she's up in Boston.
Damn.
Colby, and Kirk live up in Boston also. So these people are coming from Boston to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to tell Roscoe's family, I really appreciate you tuning in. I met your uncle, your brother, your friend, your family, and we've had a great relationship. I personally like to party a lot of times, and I know Roscoe likes to party. We've had some really great conversations late at night here, drinking whiskey, having good times, being friends.
Oh, that reminds me.
They like Kirks and Rossco, John Lodge says.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about Lawrence Ferlinghetti, and one of the recurring themes in your work, what I see, are actual people. You do. They're not portraits. You can tell who these people are, but you're not trying to capture. You do capture their likeness, but you don't. But you also capture who they are. Like the Bukowski, he looks bad, but it's drawn perfectly. Yeah. Lawrence Ferlinghetti, these beautiful lines. You're a great drawer. Like you're pulling in these cultural figures, Iggy Pop, Debbie Harry. What inspired you to actually grab people into your paintings, the actual people? Not like here, people. Maybe these come from.
Yeah, those come just out of my head. Yeah. In all actuality, a lot of the people that are recognizable would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people who have affected me personally. Mm-hmm. I love Bukowski. If you want a picture of Bukowski, go on the internet and get a photo of him and run it off. Simple enough. What I try and do with the painting is to take Bukowski, make it the way I see him, which involves this kind of derelict type of angst that Bukowski had about him. Mm-hmm. And so that's why he's done, instead of color, black and white. Pencil on white, and it gives it more of this stark type of presentation. So yeah,
I would say tonight we're going to see 10, 12 paintings by Rossco. The oldest one that goes back is 20 years old.
Yeah, that's that, and it's the only one I've ever had hanging in my house. I told you that the other day. Yeah, it's not like I don't hang paintings in my house because I don't want to be influenced by myself, by what I've done previously. I want to have kind of a clear head when I'm going into a new painting, and then afterwards I can go through my paintings, look at them in storage and go, oh yeah, it fits in. Okay, it's cool. But to actually have one impacting the next, that's not what I'm about.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking for that variety in the work. These are also the way that I see people. I see them, the angst, I see them, the emotions that they portray in their natural lives and things like that. I did one of Andy Warhol, which you won't see tonight. You'll have to check that one out in August. August.
More work by
August.
Gallery.
Yeah. And it's like an Andy 2.0. It's like if Andy had decided to be Superman instead of a pop artist.
We had one of Andy. Was that the first one? No, who was the...
I don't think you've had one of Andy by me.
No.
I'm thinking. And if you make me think, it's going to hurt my head.
That's
Superman. Well, Superman was on the one with Lawrence Ferlinghetti.
Oh, that's the same one. Okay.
Yeah. And then the other painting that she has down there in San Francisco.
Real quick, I am going to interrupt you just to say that City Lights book, which is a cultural institution.
Absolutely.
For you and for me. When I went to San Francisco, I sent a picture of the bookstore to him because I knew it would actually mean something to him. They're in major trouble. They're actually about to shut down because of the whole COVID thing. So there's a million things you can fund, but City Lights has been counterculture.
And their bookstores online. Buy a book. Read for a change.
Yeah,
Good God.
All the people who are affiliated with it. Bukowski.
What's wrong with you people? Yeah. TV is all you watch anymore? Buy a book from City Lights.
TV, Netflix.
Live streams.
Yeah, keep City Lights alive. Absolutely.
People like Stan Parker are bringing the live stream into the future.
That's right.
Yep. But we were talking about the paintings. People who impacted me. The other one that she got was Yeah, I know. De Kooning.
Oh, the
yeah,
de Kooning
God, I
one.
was trying to come up with de Kooning, and it's like,
So many. We've read through a lot of your paintings.
yeah,
We've moved some of Roscoe's work. So tonight, all the work you will see by Roscoe is for sale. You're going to see work from $200 to $800. Just to let you know, we're going to give a business pitch.
yeah. I'm
I
not a
wanted to
marketer
say,
myself.
You know why
I'm a
these people are
producer.
so recognizable is because you're an excellent draftsman. Your lines are scraggly and craggy, and like we profiled Gerald Kinsfather recently, and when you look at his lines, it's a master line. This guy takes a pencil in and out, and you see every shadow and every where the light hits the body of the curve of these naked women. Now you don't do that with your line. Your lines are emotion filled, energy filled. You're scribbling, but the draftsmanship of the drawing, I look at it and I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
well, a
McGuffey.
lot of times I
That's
just put the pencil on the surface and let it do what it's going to do.
But
And,
this one here is more of a caricature, maybe is the word.
Yeah.
Of people.
Well, number one, when I first got interested in anything that was art-oriented, it was comic books. I've carried that all my life. Mad Magazine, comic books, things like that. So a lot of the characters I can look at and go, I can see the comic book influence there.
Yeah.
And then when I moved on, there was, like I said, de Kooning, and then I started getting into the pop artists and that type of thing. But art expressionism has always been where I was kind of at, interest-wise. And so, of course, I did like everybody else, and in the 80s got into Jean-Michel Basquiat. And
it's an influence everybody can see, but you've moved past that. I mean, you do your own
I got to do my own thing. Yeah. I see a lot. I've go on Instagram, and I see a lot of people, and what they are is imitating or reproducing, basically, the work that Jean did. And it's like, no. You can learn from him, but
Steal
then
from him.
move
No,
on.
don't learn,
Steal from him. Yeah, exactly. And stealing in this case is good. It's a good thing. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever.
Steal the idea and blow it up. I mean, that's what great art is. I mean, you take this.
Actually, steal the idea and destroy it.
Yeah,
that's where real art is.
Yeah. So I just want to mention, we're going to move along, look at some more paintings here. We're going to have Mary come by. She's going to talk with Roscoe here in a bit. What I did want to say is how old is this one?
This one, not that old. It goes back about 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. And what I just want to mention about this one, because as we go on, we're going to see a lot of chaos in some of your paintings. Not necessarily chaos, busyness. You're going to see a lot of things to look at, layer upon layer, these different things. But with this one, your eye gets a lot to rest on, and you just focus on this classic. This is like classic art for 4,000 years of someone lying down and someone holding.
It's like the Pietà a little bit.
See, this is, I think, the only one that I have where I took a pencil. All of this over on the left-hand side is in pencil, and
I noticed.
That's all shading and everything. And after I did that, I went, that will never happen again. Hell no. Too much time, too hard.
Yeah, that's real. This is an amazing painting, but it foreshadows kind of what you're doing now. I would say this one is calm.
Well, that's what I look for, is this kind of stairway. I hate to think of it as just something that's lateral. It's kind of a stairway, and one leads to the next, and they're all steps that a person takes. And hopefully you don't take too many steps back. Every once in a while you do. Because you're trying new stuff, and it doesn't work. And that's not bad.
That's exactly
it works just fine, because then it teaches you, no, you got to go this other direction.
Yeah.
And so,
but if you don't experiment and you don't take steps forward in some direction, you kind of stagnate. So
hey, Mom, this is apple juice.
Apple cider.
This is Hank Fuller's work behind us.
Hank Fuller's watching.
Full work by Hank Fuller. We're going to let Mary kind of show you that, and Roscoe and I are going to transition into the other room. We'll see you in a couple seconds.
Yeah, let's use these Hank Fullers. A nice transition.
Okay.
All right. Now let's see where they've gone as we explore so much of Kirk's, including a corner of Hank Fuller's. Let's see.
One that I
They in the
actually
kitchen?
considered for a while
Nope.
keeping. It's because it had a great
Oh,
feel
there they
about
are.
it. And, you know, it's got the Bourbon Street feel. That's why I put the fancy frame on it, kind of the Bourbon Street,
Oh.
New Orleans type of thing going on.
Well, you know.
Oh, they're back.
We're back.
Hi.
Welcome to Street Jazz with Rossco.
That's right. Yeah, that's a new show. Yeah, it's not going to have anything to do with jazz. There you go.
Just street. It's all street.
It's all street.
Lewis, this is Streets of Lewis. So we were coming out here, we're gonna look at this painting, Street Jazz. I love it. Color, action, joy, energy, you know, always the drips, the scribbles, the scrapes. I love these faces, you know, a lot of times you'll do
Really
these-
kind of a tribal thing going on there with the faces.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you'll notice you'll draw these eye sockets. You know, you can draw in different ways. You can draw angular. You can use circles. You know, a lot of your work you'll notice the eye sockets. You know, they come around. The face is round, and here you can see the cheeks are round. And these keep moving your eye. They move it around. A Rossco painting, your eye just zips. It zips from one corner to the other. Oh, I forgot. My mom got me a pointer so my fat finger wouldn't be in the way. If my mom's watching, Mom, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I forgot the pointer.
Where you want to point? I'll put the camera there.
I just wanted to be like, you know, that goes zipping here, comes down. Your eye can move down the saxophone.
Here, let me
and
back up
shoot
a little
back
bit
up.
so you can zip. Okay, zip
So, like,
it,
when
zip
I
it
look at a
again
piece
for the
of art-
crowd.
When I look at a piece of art, a lot of times I try to analyze how I'm looking at it. So when I look at a lot of Rossco paintings, there's so many angles, there's so many circles, and then there's so many layers of paint, layers of pencil, marker. And so when I look at this paint, let's say when my eye catches it, I look at this guy. I see this circle, it shoots it off this way to this head, it comes down. I go in these circles here, and then my eye's like, do I want to follow down the saxophone, which is going to shoot back up here? Or am I going to follow this guy and then get to the bottom, come across? This is beautiful. This adds so much to the composition. It looks like a gilded frame, like he's referencing gilded frames.
Well,
It's
like
the only one I've noticed where you've done this.
Yeah, well,
You've
like I
added
mentioned
to the
earlier, when I finally was getting towards the end of the painting, I thought this is a Bourbon Street type thing. This is a great theme. I don't do theme paintings much, but this was something. And so to make it almost more like Bourbon Street, it needed a gilded frame.
Huh.
You know, that's New Orleans stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
And
it
I
works
think
perfectly.
it worked perfect with the composition.
A woman who was in here earlier today is the one who's like, oh, it's like a gilded frame with that gold. I mean, she's the one who mentioned it to me, and I had seen it as ornate, but when she said gilded and it was gold, I was like, oh yeah, it's gilded. Is this China marker? Is that what
Those are oil pastels.
oil pastels? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
I use
China markers a lot.
pencil, I use oil pastel, I use latex house paint, artists. Acrylic is expensive, oil is stupid. You can use brushes from Home Depot, that's where I get my brushes. And most of my latex paint even is mistakes they've made in mixing it. So I get it for like $5 a quart and stuff. It's great, and it works out great.
Which goes into, I mean, anything, you can make anything art.
That's right.
You could hand me a paper clip and a rubber band and I'd give you a killer
That's right.
sculpture.
Over here we got
12
cardboard
seconds. Yeah.
and paper and that type, staples.
Yeah, let's move on
and,
to this one.
The whole schmear.
So this is the oldest Rossco we've seen yet. in
20
Kirks.
years old.
This is 20 years old.
That's the only one I've ever had hanging in my house, and that's because it had a great feel about it. And I kept looking at it. The name of the painting is As It Is. And the reason for the name is I kept looking at it going, no, maybe I should put a figure in here. Oh, God, maybe just a fate. No. And finally, I decided it's fine as it is. And so that became the name of the painting, As It Is.
Yes, so this is As It Is. It's by Rossco. It's the oldest piece we've seen. This piece is $300. It is really unique in that it's not a square. Most of his paintings are fairly square. This is a rectangle. And it's beautiful, referencing pop art. He was talking about Andy Warhol earlier. Pictures
Oh,
of things.
and this is the piece every time there's one piece that LB votes for. He has
Chaos.
come out to vote for this piece of art. This is LB's choice on Friday night.
Oh, nice, thank you. I like it too, LB. I really do.
Yeah, I love it. And we've had a couple. This is the only one I think on this show. I'm going to lean this forward, Mary.
Look at the back.
I'm going to show you the back. So this is actually, he built a frame on the front.
Oh, we're not there yet. There
And
we
then
go
this is
now.
cardboard on the back.
Yeah.
But then, he gives it these strats here. They kind of struts and kind of get it, solid. So a collector
right.
here in Billings bought another one. The only other one I've seen on cardboard
Yeah.
that came through. Shout out to the
There may
family.
be some new stuff that comes out on cardboard too, because it avails me something different, and yet a surface that's very workable.
And I love about this, I'm going to point out, is that over here, this I'm sure has changed. This is some yellowing. It's going to keep changing. And what I love about Rossco's art, I use it in my art. I know a lot of people are concerned about, archival quality, things like this, which is very important to some art, but not all art is that. Some art is meant to degrade, some art is meant to fall apart, and some art is only meant to be experienced very temporarily. And this is kind of in that middle ground of, it's going to keep changing because of this varnish. Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's actually a stain type of varnish, and it smoked up my place. I was living in a mobile home at that time. It smoked up my place so much that I had to get out of the house to keep from having my painting kill me. But I'd put those sheets in the oven to dry the varnish quicker.
And of the maybe 15 to 20 paintings I've seen of yours that have passed through Kirks, this little area right here.
Isn't that so controlled that you just can't stand it?
This looks like something. I don't know. It has any of your other paintings. It's
Nope.
like something you would do in a school project where they're like, learn how to shade, but not. Then you didn't. Then you let it get cut up. You put it on something else. It looks like it's blowing out. It's dripping down. It's WD-40, but I love it. And then not only is it tight like it's a school project, then you let it like get totally degraded and mashed up by varnish, and I love it. It's just beautiful.
And it's like a celebration of texture.
I also did a lot of work on this painting has more paint removed than it does have put on it. You look at these areas here, and all of this is just where I removed everything.
Wow.
And
Similar
yeah.
to Gordon McConnell's work out front,
Yeah,
where he's
exactly.
ripping those, putting paper on paper, ripping it off, and it's
Yep.
all ripped up.
yeah, so probably about 70% of the paint that I put on this came back off. I had scraped it off. I dug it off.
This is a really
Poured
unique-
whiskey on it. I don't know.
This is $300, and if I'm out there and I'm deciding if I should buy a Rossco, I'd say it's a good deal. It's not the least inexpensive one we have. It's $300, but it's a really unique piece, and you can see his history in it. You can see so much. Yeah. So if you're an art collector and you're like, I want to have an interesting piece, this is a great piece to start with. Or end with, because if you don't buy it tonight, I'm going to buy it. And then
We were
I'll sell it
talking
to you
about
later.
that. Yeah,
Then
we
I'll
were
sell it
talking.
to you later.
Yeah, that's exactly. We were talking about Andy Warhol shipping his first show of soup cans, Campbell soup cans, down to his gallery down in California. Guy opens up these crates and he's, what the hell, Warhol? None of it sold. Everybody hated it. And the guy was sitting around afterwards, and all of a sudden he realized, no, Andy's taking art in a whole different direction. These are historic. So he got a hold of Andy, bought it for $1,000. What was it? That was in 1966 or something like that. In 2006, I think it was, he sold it for $7 million. Good investment.
Best investments in the world, vinyl record albums and art. But
There
you
you
gotta
go.
have an eye, and I can help you start with that.
Yeah,
That's
Shane's
generous
good.
of you.
Shane's
Like
good.
that.
Very generous.
Anyways, we went through 3 paintings with me and Rossco. Rossco and I. And now we're going to switch over to Mary Serby. Mary Serby's going to spend some time with you.
All right.
I've always wanted to spend a little time with Mary.
Yeah, she's great.
That's the great thing about the internet. Everybody's spending time. Let's hand off our equipment.
No, I'm
To
not going to
daylight.
have the skills that Mary has had.
Oh, you don't know. You don't know.
No, he's had a lot of whiskey. He probably isn't going to.
The whiskey helps with the skills. All right.
We got a comment here I see from John Lodge. Shane channeling the horns and head trips in jazz.
That's what he
There you go,
does.
there you go.
That's what he does. Also, what John does.
Yeah, it's been, I got a John Lodge piece hanging in my house that I bought here at Kirks Grocery. This piece I bought for $375, and it consists in part of $3 in $5 bills.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
So
one
I
fell
got a John Lodge for
still owe you $5.
$5. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's the way the art is. The art evolved, and you don't owe anybody anything.
Just like the piece we were talking about over here.
Bingo.
The varnish show
Exactly.
All
Exactly.
it did on John Lodge's piece is a $5 bill fell out.
Yeah, and so that's the way it has to stay.
Yeah, I'm going to stop talking. We're going to let Mary do this.
Oh, you can narrate. Should we take a look at Debbie Harry? And
Yeah, go ahead.
all right, let's step over this dog.
Yeah, that's why I was letting you go first.
All right. We'll just step
Besides, I'm one hell of a gentleman.
So
Yeah,
this is a great example of what Shane was saying, where there are celebrities that you recognize.
Not only recognized, but these guys were two of the outstanding celebrities in one of the most important periods in New York art. And when I talk about art, I'm not just talking about visual arts. I'm talking about music, I'm talking about poetry, I'm talking about prose, I'm talking about dance. I'm talking about New York City in the 80s. And these guys, Iggy Pop, Deborah Harry, they were great. They were part of a group that not only these two, but also Jean-Michel Basquiat and Keith Haring and the whole bunch ran around together, and it seems like every single one of them ended up famous and also were leaders in culture. They took the whole country in a different direction, and it's beautiful.
And yeah, you also honor CBGB's down here, royalty CBGB's, where it all
CBGBs.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah, Hilly Crystal. Hilly Crystal was the owner of CBGB's, and he started out wanting to make it a country western
Really?
bar.
I didn't know that about CBGB's.
And this manager came in and said, I got a group, I want you to listen to them. And are they country? And he says, yeah, kind of, sort of. The group was Television. It was a punk band. But Hilly Crystal was smart enough to think about it and go, there's something there. There's something there. And so he ended up booking the band, and after that, it was all out. I mean, you had the Talking Heads started there. Every band that you can think of that became something during the 80s. CBGB's. And CBGB's stands for Country Bluegrass Blues.
Oh, I went the wrong way. Shane's just learning this camera.
Oh, she
Sorry,
was just
y'all.
learning CBGB's country bluegrass blues. I had no idea. I mean, I grew up outside New York City. I always thought of it as a punk club. I didn't realize that this was the acronym, and I didn't realize that it started out country. Yeah. And then you think about Iggy Pop and Debbie Harry, and I mean, Debbie Harry, though, then you're not exactly
Did you ever
punk
do
anymore.
Pop Rocks the Candy?
Oh, yeah.
That pop in your mouth? Yeah, that's why I love that part.
Oh, and that's another
Yeah,
80s
it's a play
reference.
on the
Yeah,
candy thing, Pop Rocks. But it's Iggy Pop, and Iggy Pop rocks.
He does.
There you go.
And it's such a haunting image of Iggy Pop. You think of the 80s, and you think of his vibrancy, but also, I mean, this look on his face, I mean, what were you thinking about with this particular stare?
Probably had one whiskey too many. No, Iggy can be intense. And like I said, when I do a portrait of somebody, I'm not looking to do an exact likeness. I'm I want people to see what I see. And Iggy's an intense personality. And so I'm looking to try and portray that in intensity. Blondie, she's poppy, she's full of energy, she was beautiful too.
Yeah, Debbie.
Or is. What am I talking about?
Yeah, Debbie Harry
Debbie's
from
still
Blondie.
around.
Yeah, and she was one of the first kind of mainstream artists to start to integrate, Yeah.
funk
Into the mainstream.
and pop and punk.
Yeah. And this is a great
Now
depiction
she thinks of
Debbie Harry.
herself more as punk. Yeah, so
Of her roots, yeah.
yeah, exactly, and she looks on herself as probably one of the first punk bands in New York. They were great friends with the Ramones. They played with each other, the whole schmear.
And I feel like as time's gone on, I feel like Blondie blew up in like the top 40, but then I think that Debbie Harry has remained as sort of an icon of punk culture and CBGBs.
Exactly. And there's no problem with being top 40. I mean, in a sense, it adds legitimacy to punk music.
Oh, well, yeah, and
Whereas a lot of people
sustainability.
went, those people can't play a guitar, they stupid lyrics, da 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 da. When I paint, I pop in the 80s punk music, and that's what I paint to. There's an energy there, there's a creativity, there's a deconstructivist attitude when it comes to music that I want to see in art.
Yeah.
And that type of thing. And so that's one of the things that I love to do is, I don't know if the neighbors love it too much, but I crank that punk up and go to town.
I got a question here from Michelle Perryman. How much is shipping for the WD-40 painting? And off the top of my head, I'm going to say that's probably between $75 to $100. If you want to direct message us after, or please do, I can call you. Just, however, leave a comment, and I can get back to you on that.
And I feel like you have a few pieces that have been at Kirk's that have this type of arm, this kind of hand too. And I like the way, it's a
Geometry means a lot to me. If you look at a lot of what I do over here with these paintings and everything, there's a lot of geometry that goes on. Shane was pointing some of that out on the street jazz one, where there was this flow that comes like this
Yeah,
and
the
this.
Motion he was showing.
And, yeah,
Is it a little, are we in a little too close to the camera?
This was moving. You
actual
guys can
geometry coming down and over.
Yeah.
And what she's doing there. And so
And the shapes.
somewhere
you see
along the
over
way,
and
I
over
had
again,
somebody who told me, don't let the viewer's eye drop off the damn bottom of the canvas. So if she's pointing over here, then it draws the eye back up here.
Yeah.
And so your flow remains within the confines of this little restricted area that I've made for you to entertain yourself with.
Yeah, the X,
Yeah.
the way her hair falls, it all creates that motion. Definitely. And if you're going to fall off the bottom of the canvas, then your signature is right there to stop you.
Oh. Just be true to Debbie because she's a beautiful girl. She does not have yellow teeth. Okay, Debbie, sorry.
If you want to see
Yeah, but
the
I do
yellow
love
teeth, you
I
need
do
to buy a
love how
Rossco.
over here you have Iggy with green teeth.
Yeah.
I really do love those.
I like color. And white is okay to a point, but I got to get color in there, and I usually getting color in any place I can. Here again, pencil stuff went kind of wild, but I think it really works.
Yeah, so this painting is called Royalty. It is $600. It's 4x4.
Yeah. And this one's on, is it on a wood panel? Is that what this is?
This is one of the ones that are a little bit newer, but the newest, I've been taking those hardboard panels and attaching them to canvases. The kind of 4x4 canvas that
Oh, like
you
the
get
stretchers?
at, that's all stretched and everything, that you get at Michael's, the heavy duty ones. And I've been attaching it to that. I actually tried painting a painting on the canvas, and I hate the texture of canvas. I was like, "Ah."
So you take,
Doesn't
instead
work.
of just the bars, the wooden bars, you leave the canvas on
I leave
there,
the
and then you
canvas
put
on,
that wood
and I
panel
put
right
glue
over.
all over the canvas,
Oh, that's
and take a
great.
piece of hardboard and glue it on.
Oh, that's
And now I
great.
got my surface. That's the stuff I do.
Yeah,
Those are the new ones, yeah.
That's-
how this house
so that's sort of like,
Yeah, the Bukowski's on a canvas. And it is the way to go, because a lot of these have a tendency to want to warp and things like that. Not there. Those will hang pretty much flush. Yeah, that's Bukowski. That's the one I was talking about, where it deals more with the
That's it.
emotion, the angst, the derelict have you ever read any of Bukowski?
Oh, yeah, I love Bukowski.
That guy was that
It's
guy was
always-
a gutter
It's
crawler.
always with a woman who hates him,
Yeah,
and she
yeah,
hates him
yeah.
for good reason.
That
and,
not only with a woman that hated him, but the woman he paid for.
Yeah.
And
That Ham on Rye is just his biography as a kid growing up is amazing too.
it is.
Yeah.
But I love his writing, and I've got several poetry books by him and
Yep.
prose.
I do
I've
too. Yeah, his
read
poetry
notes
is
from the
beautiful.
underground and that type of thing.
And you were talking about how you use the pencil with Debbie Harry, and you see it here too, because you get the emotion in the face with the pencil, but you still have kind of ragged, raw pencil lines too.
On this one, I wanted it kind of bleak. I wanted that Desolation Boulevard look, and so I did it just strictly in pencil and white. And you can see a little bit of washes of some gray in here and stuff like that. But and a big old cigarette in his hand.
All you smokers out there.
And does the color on the right have significance? The shapes and the color and the texture? Is it related to Bukowski, or is it just about the act of creating?
It's the act of creating, absolutely. In fact, some of the most fun that I have is with the abstract things that go on in painting. And what they do is they take something that has the realism aspect going on, albeit not the way most people would consider realism, but then it's got the totally abstract.
Yeah.
So
And the motion,
and with
like
those,
you
I have a
said.
lot of fun because those kind of just come out and they flow and they do things, and then if it adds to the composition overall, boom.
Oh yeah,
Boom.
It definitely does
Yeah.
with this. I mean, just all the use of this color here. Was this a color of house paint that nobody wanted? This color right here, this pink?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Can you imagine they didn't want their house to be that
It's
color?
hard to imagine.
Good Lord.
Perfect for the kitchen, is what I think. Baby flesh colored kitchen. And hashtag what the fuck is this? Roscoe.
What
Yeah.
is this one called? Is it called High Times?
The High Times. High Times for Bukowski.
High Times.
Yeah.
High times for Bukowski.
I usually don't like to lead the viewer that much by creating a title that says, Bukowski and stuff like that. I should have probably left it at High Times because people get out of a painting what they want to. Like I was talking to Shane the other day and I said, the people I go for are the people who like the work or the people who hate the work. The people who don't give me the time of day on it, they go screw themselves, man. There's some things to be seen here. There is some value in it. And so I think that either love me or hate me, but don't try and just walk around me, baby.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a classic statement.
Yeah.
You want
Well, that's the way I feel. And if they love me, that works. If they hate me, that works because that means my painting has brought about emotion. And that's what paintings are supposed to do. They're supposed to inspire emotion in people.
And this is a great
This is an emotional painting. Whoever did this painting, that guy needs to go see a psychiatrist. Good Lord. What could be going on in that guy's head?
I feel like you're using a little collage in this one.
Yeah, this came out of a comic book. I was going through a comic book and I found this great picture. Blindfolded female, justice. Yeah. And it seemed to fit right in with it seemed to be, God-given because it fit right in with the whole thing that was going on in this painting. This is kind of almost my favorite way of painting too, because any thought that comes into my head, boom, onto the painting. And that's the way I like to work. I don't like to have to think, well, now does it go with a theme? Would it be something that upset people? Yeah, no. That's what I like to do is any thought that enters my peaked little head, I like to put it on the surface. And that's what I did here.
I love how, there's a shooting. It goes right through this person. There's no gore. There's no blood. It's geometry. And then it's headed right towards Justice, who's blind, who doesn't see it coming.
Good eye. Wow. The other thing that I doubt most people would see, not only what you saw there, But this here, processed meat, does it refer to Spam or does it refer to this guy?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Processed meat.
Yeah, it's kind of a, like I said, it's demented at best. But I really like this one. It has some great things going on in it.
Well, there is a lot going on here because this figure here
Yeah.
is so complex. Like, you know, the hollow aspect, this leg, this second leg that comes across too. I'm not, you know, like I'm not even sure what's happening. Like things are askew and dislocated. The joints are dislocated.
Have you ever seen a fight where all of a sudden appendages seem to be coming out of the wrong places and stuff? Yeah, it's same type of thing. You want activity. You want this action going on. You want the geometry to be going on and the whole schmear. And so all of that goes into the concept when even I'm doing something like this where some people may look at it and go, well, it's more cartoon-like. But can you recognize this as a human being?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Then that's what a human being looks like.
Yeah.
If you recognize it as a human being, that's what a human being looks like. Does this look like a human being?
Yeah.
Then it is a human being. That's what a human being looks like. You don't have to see human beings or people or anything else one way. You can see them a multitude of ways.
That's fake news, bro.
That's fake news?
That's not true. That was fake.
Oh,
That was talk.
damn, Sean caught me giving out fake news.
Sorry about that camera here, guys.
Yeah.
Love you.
I feel like with these two, it shows what's beneath the surface. You know, you feel like you see more of the skull in some ways with the skin peeled back, you know, with the eye sockets.
Yeah. Well, on these, you notice there's no eye flap or anything like that, eyelids or anything like that. These are very stark, going for strictly emotion at that point.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, I left fairly simple when it came to eyes and things like that. What I was doing was kind of challenging people to see, to recognize something as human, see it as human, accept it as human, and know that you can see people different ways and it's okay. You know, there's no point in thinking that super realism is the only way to go if you want to see a human being. Hell no.
Well, like you said, you can go on the internet and download a photo of something.
Bingo.
And
bingo.
even with a photo, perception is endless. So
what do you think I do when I do some
different.
of these paintings? I download photos and then I change them big time.
So we got some comments here. I'm going to break in. Hank Fuller says Chuck is superb. That's Chuck Bukowski up there.
Oh.
Thanks, Hank. I agree.
Superb.
John Lodge says in the screenplay for Barfly with Mickey
Rourke
and the book about the ace. Oh, about the screenplay.
Nice.
April Marie Metler says magnificent works. I adore, admire, and aspire to make something so pleasing to myself.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you
That's
so
a
much.
That's very
wonderfully
sweet.
beautiful
That's
comment.
very sweet.
Which way
Shane,
do
did you want to switch
Usually
back?
I don't receive that sort of really sweet feedback.
I am not as
You said they love you or they hate you. So.
Yeah, usually, and if they're talking to me directly, it's like, good to meet you, stay away from my daughter. Yeah.
Right there. We're gonna finish.
All right, Shane is out of the room, but we can still move over
Yeah, we
by
can,
one of my favorites.
And this is one of Shane's favorites, I understand. Obvious drug references going on here.
Yep. So this one,
Did you want to read the title?
I do want to read the title.
Yeah, because I can't remember the whole damn thing. I was drunk at the time, and that's
This song is this song. We missed performance.
yeah. That's what happens when you got a
We missed
musician.
performance.
Shane is a musician,
This
and
song,
so that's
your paintings are like songs.
yeah. Well, all art blends together. You're absolutely right.
High and higher, till nothing is as it seems. By Rossco. This one itself is $300. It's 4x4. What I noticed different about this one, and the next one, and the one after, the next three are busier. They're darker, like the colors are darker.
Yeah.
And you know, you get so much of this layer. Maybe it's like the WD-40 one where you were showing us you wipe everything off. You just get this texture.
Yeah, I used to get
layers.
into layering like that quite a bit. These remember, are a little older, And this one was almost kind of, well, I won't go into the backstory because my mom is watching.
What about Popeye? Can we get about why Popeye's
We
because he smokes a pipe?
No, it's
Strong to the finish.
if you're high enough, sometimes you recognize people not like they are, but like your brain tells you they are.
Oh yeah.
And that's there's bottle in his hand, joint in his other hand.
Yeah.
Obvious drug references, and so it has to do with this guy being like spaced out to the max. It's really pretty obvious.
Well,
but
I think
there's a lot going on besides that. I love that construction of the fish, and it's leading me in another direction.
What I was going to say about that fish is like we all have heard the term jumping the shark, but here I'm going to coin the term. Well, no, it doesn't
Sharking
work.
the
Shark
jump?
jumping the Popeye or something like that. I mean, I don't know.
Wow, we've coined
Wow,
a new
we've been
term,
drinking tonight,
everybody.
ladies and gentlemen.
Shark
That's right.
jumping the Popeye. That's not the title of the
Also,
piece.
you'll see
When you're
that
super high
on the face
is
on
high and
this
higher.
one.
What you say, man? I'm like a shark jumping the Popeye.
the face on this one actually was a precursor to like the Bukowski and the Buys and the and some of the new stuff that I'm doing, where I actually made them more human-like.
Yeah, and you get these pencil lines. I mean, this is where we're starting to see your pencil lines come in. I mean, by the time you get to the Bukowski one, the draftsmanship.
And
as I
there's
talked
a
about
reminder
earlier, is
for
amazing.
Roscoe that your granddaughter is watching too. Not
My
just your mom.
granddaughter, would that be Hannah?
April says your granddaughter is watching too.
Yeah. Well, hi, sweetie.
Shout out to
that's
Hannah.
that's my sweetie. That's Hannah.
Wait till his great granddaughter's watching.
Bite me. No, that's my sweetie. That's Hannah. And
And like you know, I
love
see
her
this
to death.
a lot of times. I see New York in your paintings, because we've talked about that earlier. But here you had a cab, and cabs, regardless of the sharing economy and Uber and Lyft, yellow cabs will always remind me of New York City.
Now, that's just some of my other influence. When there's been a lot of things, like I mentioned, comic books being an influence. But when it comes down to like Red Grooms, Red Grooms, I've talked to you before about
multiple
that,
times.
and a huge influence on my art. Anybody who hasn't investigated Red Grooms, get off your dead ass, do something for yourself, check out his work. Really cool. Red Grooms has a little bit to do with this. Of course, if you look at Jean-Michel Basquiat's work, he did a lot of the same type of thing. And people, art historians, look back on it now and go, well, one of the reasons why he liked to do the automobile thing so much in his work was because he was run over by a damned automobile. Almost killed the poor guy.
Red Grooms?
No, Basquiat.
Oh, Basquiat.
Yeah. No, Red Grooms did these great
Red Grooms
New
drove over.
York City stuff and installations. Yeah, just absolutely fabulous. Hello.
That's right.
Hello.
We didn't forget you while we were looking at your work. We didn't forget Shane either.
Hey, I'm over here.
He's over here.
We got about 3 more paintings left that we're going to look at by Roscoe. They are.
We going right here?
We're going to go to this one here.
'Cause we are right here. Here,
A lot of symbolology in this. If a person wants to understand the symbolology in this, go to hobo symbols.
Okay. Did you see on trains?
on your Google search, and you'll be able to read a bunch of stuff that's going on in this. Besides which, we've got the wheel, which is obvious. We've got death, which is obvious. We've got something going on there. That's very.
I love this skeleton. It totally references like Mexican folk art without it all being Mexican.
Bingo.
It's not.
Well,
It's not
see,
Mexican folk
I
art,
spent
but it is.
a couple years down in New Mexico working at Shadoni Art Casting Foundry.
Okay.
And, oh God, it was a horror story. Some good art came through, but a lot of it was just kind of cliche art. But looking at the Mexican art that I became familiarized with, not from my job, but from going out and just, checking out the culture. Yeah,
I I love it because I think it's the curve of the neck, and I mean maybe I don't know. You know how the head bends down. I mean you see that. A lot.
Well, it had to bend away from the power source over here.
Yeah.
See, we've got a huge power source thing going on here. It's like, yeah, it's like Iron Man +3.
So we've been talking about purchasing art tonight. What we do here at Kirks Grocery, we sell great art to great people. And this one right here, this is 4 or 5 years old, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It goes back a ways.
this is only $200. Roscoe brought some early pieces in. So let's say you got laid off and you've been doing nothing but eating bonbons since COVID.
Cut back on your bonbon diet and throw out a couple hundred on something that can live with you the rest of your life.
I love this. This is a great one. It's busy. This circle here. You obviously see
The
wheel.
wheel-
You see the wheelchair, but
yeah.
being from Montana, being from here, I also see like a
There's-
wagon wheel.
There's no wheelchair there. It is just strictly the wheel.
Yeah.
And the
body-
wheel is something that I've used in other paintings too that you haven't seen yet.
Okay.
And will be showing up in other paintings too, because the wheel is a great symbol. And symbolically, it means a lot. People can go into it in depth. I'm not going to for you. If you're interested, look it up.
And Hank Fuller pointed out there's another halo in this one, too.
Yes, there is. Yeah, Hank. Hey, Hank. Glad to see you, buddy.
We got this halo right here, and maybe is these stitches or are these
No,
maybe
no,
a mohawk?
hair. I on a lot of things, and you'll notice on a lot of them that hair becomes just, on some of them I put in a little bit more time, but if you look at me, hair is not important.
Sure.
Do not do that.
Real quick, we're going to take a little 10-second break, 30-second break. I want to point out this beautiful Terry Carson. Terry Carson, Montana legend. These are etched glass, framed by Hank Fuller in oak. We do most of our custom framing here.
Hank does a great job, doesn't he?
Yep. And this is Terry Carson, and this is going to be part of our next show, which opens June 5th. It's Mary Serby, your wonderful camera operator, and Terry Carson, a Montana legend. And we have 4 of these glass panels he made for a museum. They were going to be laid on the floor under safety glass and then lit from below. There was going to be, I believe, 30 panels. We have 4 of them here.
Congratulations, Mary.
Oh, thank you. Shaking hands here.
So yeah, I just wanted to point this out. June 5th, we're going to have a new show. It is called Tread and Unravel, and it is going to feature the work of Terry Carson and Mary Serby. I love these. These are backlit. These are etched glass. This piece right here is framed. It is $750 and totally wonderful.
It is a great piece. A great piece, yeah. Edith Freeman was always one of my favorite artists here in Billings. Edith did woodcuts. And at the
Great
same time
printmaker.
it gives the same effect as the etching that you see there.
Yeah.
Edith was a wonderful, beautiful woman that could never be replaced on the face of the earth.
Yeah, and she taught a lot of people. Wasn't she a
Oh,
professor that taught Waddell?
Well,
and, I mean,
she-
all sorts
No,
of
you're thinking of Isabel
she taught
Johnson.
people
I'm
through
sorry,
her
what?
life.
Oh, I said you're thinking of Isabel Johnson, but
Yes.
No,
Edith
but
Freeman
Edith
was an
Freeman
educator
was also
as well.
An educator,
Yeah.
but she taught people through her life. The way that she lived life was amazing. And she's an amazing artist. If you don't know Edith Freeman, check her work out. Honest to God. She is worth knowing about. This is very reminiscent of some of the woodcuts that Edith Freeman would have done. Although Edith was more into floral.
Was that these were the ones when you got into Boundless Visions back in Bob Durden's curated exhibit?
we had the wood block itself and the print next to it
When you walk
recently.
into Boundless on the right
And
hand
then
side.
if you visit me at the museum in my office, you'll see a piece of her work in
You
my
got an
office.
office?
They gave me an office. They kept me in the basement for about a year and a half, and then I earned my way up the elevator.
I contacted them and they offered to hand me a broom.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's fine. You
I'm
can come
lying.
on over and sweep
I'm
my
lying.
office.
I'm a
Yeah.
liar. Okay, you caught me.
I'm gonna move this one over here.
All right, Shane's doing a little bit of moving around. I don't know
In
where
fact,
we're going.
about 90% of what I've said could be a lie, so think about that, people.
There are
Yeah.
never any lies on Kirks Grocery Facebook Live.
This
right,
is
Shane?
not a lie. The next Roscoe you're about to see, $200.
$200.
That's right.
200, yeah. Is
Can
that
you
what
believe-
I'm that go
All right,
for?
I better
Yeah.
look at
Are
that
you
one.
nuts?
I am not nuts. You are.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we knew that to begin with.
I just sell them for what you tell me.
That's right, brother.
So this is
This
an
is
older
First
Roscoe,
Love.
obviously. First Love. You can see. Oh, First Love. What is that? It's chaos, is what it looks like to me.
No, it's a lesbian type of thing.
Oh, okay.
And it is First Love and that type. Yeah. And you got a lot of great activity. This is when I was really exploring the use of tape, the use of comic book
Oh, yeah.
pages.
This is like
and
masking
everything.
tape.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
love
yeah,
masking
yeah.
That's not pink. That's masking tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming in low,
And
everybody.
comic
Here we
book
go.
pages to construct a background, and then over the top of it, lay the figures that I want. And I really like it. I really think it came piece. And it was successful. It's what I wanted to portray. I didn't want it to be sleazy. I didn't want it to be, you know, nasty or anything like that. I wanted it to be, yeah, First Love.
I love you often use green, blues, totally unnatural skin colors.
Yeah.
But you know, they're not, because if you
Hey.
do go to art classes, they tell you, a lot of teachers will tell you
Have
to
you ever
lay
been
down
under
blue
stage
first.
lights?
Blue, red,
Stage
and yellow.
lights?
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
This is stage lights. I did not notice that, but now as soon as you said
A
that,
lot of what I do, I picture people under stage lights.
red, yellow.
Mhm.
I guess that's you, red, blue, green usually. RPG, no, it's red, blue, yellow. What are you getting on stage?
Lighting is very different from paint and.
Oh God, we had so back in the old days, we used to do Wednesday Wits, and we had Jack come over from the Alberta Bear Theater. He's the technical director over there, and he gave a lecture on stage lighting, and it was pretty much me and John
Hello.
Lodge, like many nights
Hello.
John Lodge, and we listened to him talk about the difference between pigment, paint, and lighting.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. I never knew about this. And one of the great things about Kirks is, even though I started this business, it's about everybody that comes through these doors and everybody that participates and everybody that shows up. It's Stan Parker, it's Mary Serby, it's
Come
Roscoe.
on, Stan.
We are all here, and we're all just pushing art and life. And
We're not pushing art, we're offering
I'm
art.
a pusher.
Shane's a pusher.
God damn the pusher
We've
man!
got a comment from Chris, and all right, I'm not going to look at you, Shane, because I want to see white on a darker color. Chris says, growing up with Roscoe as my father has been an education in art and life. His art has been inspirational and created freedom to think for myself and feel and free feeling to express myself in any way.
Thank you, son.
Shout out from your son.
You lie like a goddamn drunk sailor.
The highest praise for a son.
No, I appreciate it, son. You know I love you. We got intruders.
We're gonna let us
Come
look
on,
one
get in
more.
here.
Let us, you know
We're
what?
talking
Go get
about
my
the
guitar on and
community
everything.
here.
Yeah, get in here.
How
Yeah. Introduce him, Shane.
Hayden
I'll turn on
Duncan.
Hayden.
I'll turn on the PA.
Hey everybody.
Hayden.
Duncan showed up tonight, Mr. Sleepyhead.
Hayden.
We're gonna get a song at the end of the night. We're gonna look at.
Let it be a surprise who the performer will be.
We
No, it's
love
Hayden
Hayden,
It
don't
could
we?
be rap. It could be rap me. It could be
Oh, it could be so
country
many.
country me.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever
All
you
right,
guys
brother.
want.
Oh, we're not supposed to touch.
Oh right.
Oh, we're not
Okay,
touching.
so give us the.
On my head.
Oh, sorry, Ma.
No, I love you, man. Good to see you. You're working.
There's a lot of love.
So I ran in. So we opened this week. I'm gonna give a little
Yeah,
business
we do
thing. You guys do
We're going to
this.
do the business thing while they do.
And we.
Kirks Grocery is once again open for business. We are open Wednesday through Friday from 3 to 9 p.m.
That's right.
And Hayden came in on our opening day this Wednesday, and he sat around with me for a few hours, and we talked about great stuff.
I'm wearing water.
And I invited him to come here tonight and play some music.
We're going to look at one more Rossco tonight.
We are.
It is one of his newest paintings, and then we're going to let Hayden play a song on guitar. Not let, Hayden is going to play.
Hayden insists, and we acquiesce.
Okay, I'm going to do this. We didn't do it with the Bukowski painting, but yeah, please.
Oh, and there's
No, I got that. I'm always watching out for my
always
whiskey.
watching out for the drinks.
And here you
And
see
then-
the bracing in the back, the whole canvas thing going on. And that's something that I haven't done in the past. And this gets glued to the hardboard, which is my preference for painting on. And what it does is it gives you a really nice flat
Yeah.
surface that's really easy to frame.
Sturdy.
There's at a given point to approach some degree of professionalism is not a bad thing, you know. And I really like the fact that I don't have to make excuses for things being warped like my imagination.
Sometimes your art doesn't have to be as warped as your imagination.
Yeah,
Sometimes it
exactly. Yeah. This is, of course, Shane's talked about it before. This is Jean Dubuffet in his later years, obviously. And this is Joseph Baez, who I think both of them were just frickin' sensational. And big influence on, if not the work itself, the creativity. And that's more important than the work itself.
Conceptual.
And then, of course,
And then Apollo, what's the reference when you write Apollo up here?
that was another guy.
That was another.
Hey, Shane.
Shane's working with Hayden right now, and Rossco is collecting his thoughts. And we've looked at this piece before, but if you look, Rossco is talking about how he starts with a lot of pencil.
Okay, got it.
And then he builds. He's got it.
Yeah.
And
In fact, the whole background. This type of thing going on with the background. And the Apollo, that's an homage to Cy Twombly.
oh, that's right, it's Cy Twombly.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
spoken about this before.
Cy Twombly, I love that guy.
It's like having an angel in the background. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting more trippy as we go through. Yeah.
And so there's this menage a trois going on here because we've got the two painters, but we have a third painter too.
Oh, nice. So Twombly, Boyce, and Dubuffet.
Yeah. And of course, when it comes to the evolution of art, and that's really what art is all about, is trying to evolve art, trying to take it to the next step. I'm not saying my stuff is there yet. Who knows? But these guys did help with the evolution of art, especially Jean Dubuffet, with taking it back to the most simplest, most easy. A lot of people go, my 5-year-old can do that, Dubuffet. But no other artist did.
No.
And I look on stuff that my grandson, Tyler, does, and my granddaughter, Charlie, does. I am jealous. Some of their work is so fucking good.
Yeah, I work
and it's
with
so real. There's such a reality to it. And it's like, God damn it, I wish I could do work that real. You know, kids, yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah, society hasn't bound up their thoughts and
Oh,
ideas.
Charlie, I didn't say hi to you yet. That's my sweetie.
Aw.
Charlie's my little sweetie. Yeah, I love her to death. And Tyler too. Oh yeah, I better not. But Tyler's always been a great artist. In fact, one of his Christmas presents was buying him a sketchbook for the New York. It's in Brooklyn. It's the sketchbook program in Brooklyn, New York. You can buy a sketchbook from them. You do the sketchbook. You send it in, and it goes into permanent library within this facility. And people can check it out. People can look at your work from maybe 50 years ago.
Wow.
And it's a cool project. So I bought him a sketchbook, and the little bastard better goddamn do a sketch in it pretty soon, or I'm going to kick his little butt.
Listen to him.
Oh, but artists are all about breaking the rules. Now he's going to take a little more time than he originally planned because he's got to break those rules.
All right, so I'm going to break in. I'm back.
Uh-oh.
Thank you so much for showing up once again to Kirks Grocery. This has been Rossco, good friend, great artist.
Love you, brother.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Rossco.
If you have any questions about purchasing his artwork, we are selling his artwork from between $200 to $800. We would love to get you a piece. We can ship them. I would say nationally they are between $75 to $100 to ship.
Yeah,
Internationally, I
we
looked
can
last
we can
week.
do some dealing on this shit too.
Well, we had
If-
someone from Canada looking,
Yeah.
and I looked. And
Well,
it
if
was
person-
$400 to ship a painting. To
Yeah,
Canada.
no, we can do better than
But
that.
you could also, now that Montana's loosened all its rules,
Shane
just
can
drive
drive
on
it
in
to
from
you.
Canada. Just go for it.
So, anyways, Kirks Grocery, we're reopened. We're not doing performances yet. We're pretty small. We're gonna hang back on that.
What the hell do you call having me in if that ain't a performance?
Yeah, and what do you call Hayden? Hayden's here
I make
too.
bands. We did do poetry jam last night. But we're back. We're in your community. We are open 3 to 9 Wednesday through Friday. We're only letting 5 people in at a time, but that comes with a personal tour. I'll probably pour you a drink if you want it. Maybe give you a piece of bread if we socially distance. I got a really long knife. I got a 6-foot knife, and I like bread. So we'll
Wow.
be giving you that.
Kirks Grocery.
.com.
That is the cultural revolution underground in Billings.
And
Be
everywhere.
a part of it.
In the world, we're starting some international.
Oh, are we
stuff.
going outside the
We're going-
Billings?
oh, we're going
We're
international.
going
Oh, it's already
international?
outside of Billings. We got leaves here from
So while we
Chicago.
were-
I mean, it's
While we
outside
were
of
doing
Billings.
this, Hayden Duncan showed up.
Woo!
Local
Yeah.
heartthrob and
Yeah.
half-shirt wearer.
Yeah.
He knocked on the door and he said, I did not bring a guitar, I did not bring an amp, I did not bring anything but my beautiful stone self. And I
Yes.
want to play a song. And I just opened the door and I said, that's where I was when
He is really cool, but I didn't grab his butt.
I'm not going to come back on after he goes. We're going to go watch Rossco.
Oh,
I'm going to
this
answer
is
you.
the
on
outro.
tape, isn't it?
If you have any questions about purchasing art, you want to come down and make an appointment, I'm really hoping it's Billings. I'm hoping some cranked up person wants to do a 3:30 a.m. personal tour. I'm up for that.
Behind you.
Yeah?
So just get a hold of us.
Yep. And LB will come on out for that personal tour too. It's the last time you're going to see LB. LB's ready for Hayden. Hayden
That's why someone
Duncan.
around so long.
Join us next week as we go to Jane Wagner Deschner's studio. We're going to go into her studio. We're going to talk to her about how she works, why she works, when she works,
And why she's so awesome.
what are all the how what
Who,
she
what,
works,
when, where, and
she
why.
works, why she works.
Why? How? Who?
We got Hayden Duncan here.
Where?
And the origins of art.
After this, we'll see you next time. KirksGrocery.com. Thank you, Stan Parker. Thank you, Parasol Restaurant. I did not even mention this. We got a hold of Parasol Restaurant earlier. They sent us some wonderful food. We also had bread from Le Fourneau. Please support all these local.
For all you people outside of Montana, we had bison burgers from Parasol.
We got 2 bison burgers, medium rare and medium. I myself had some pasta with mushrooms from Missoula
And whiskey.
and whiskey from Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
Here we go. We got Hayden Duncan. We'll see you next week at Jane Wagner Deschner's studio.
Not getting any tone change.
We just had it.
The magic of
We gotta push
live
that.
performance.
Oh, you're on. You're on 2.
It's a little bit of a learning curve. I'm on Papa Shane's setup here. I didn't practice, but I feel ready to go, and I hope you guys enjoy the song I'm gonna play for you. So grateful and happy to be here. Shout out to everyone who's graduating. I serendipitously ended up being a part of that parade. Shout out to Emily Cheddar.
Emily Cheddar!
Yeah, you did it!
Cheddar.
Hold up,
You
hold up,
did
hold
it.
up.
She's a graduate. This is Emily Cheddar,
This is
2020
I got one
graduate.
graduation announcement this year, and it was Emily Cheddar. Props.
Hayden,
Props.
kick ass, brother.
Hey, props to all the graduates. You guys made it, and I'm so excited. for
I'm
your
not, now
present
you
and your
gotta go out and
future.
get a job.
Shh, don't ruin it for them.
They don't
They
have
know
to.
yet.
Art is an option. Tell them about this. Tell them
Yeah.
come here. All yes. This song is called Spare Tire, Learn to Swim. It's a bit of a two-part story. Well, I'll put on the spare tire that I've carried on my back for so long. And drive off toward the sunrise, knowing I'm just a note in this song. And the whole song's within me, I just don't ever keep it all. Oh, when the magic of summer always gives way to the colors of the fall. I'll climb this wall. It won't be long. I'll learn the rest of the song. It won't be long. But every time I climb to the top of a mountain, I look out from the peak and there's a valley on the other side. And then I must trudge through the rain, the snow, and the mud until the sun melts it all and I'm caught in the flows of a flood. And then I must learn to swim and transfer the light from the roots to the limbs. Oh, surely this is not the end. Oh, I'll learn to swim. But soon the sun evaporates the ocean, and then I'm back on dry land, feeling like I'm stuck in slow motion. Cause I spend so much time treading water, trying not to drown. Now all I see is waves crashing every time I look around. And then I must learn to stand again. Remember how all of my joints bend. Well, I know this is not the end. I will learn, I'll learn to walk again. Oh, I'll learn to talk to my friends again. I'm gonna fly, not afraid to die, or fly too close to the sun. Thank you so much, everybody. a spare tire / learn to swim. And I hope it hit your melon holes with really peaceful, meditative, and rejuvenating vibrations. Live from Kirks Grocery, all I can say is get your ass down here at this point. Like, if you're not with it, get with it. Because it's happening. It's a revolution in your backyard, baby.
That's
So,
right.
come on.
Headquarters for this cultural
Come to
revolution.
head to headquarters.
Worldwide revolution.
Yes.
That's right.
Thank you all for your love and support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being patrons
April,
of Kirks.
thank you for taking care of Grandma for me while I was here.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming out to Kirks Grocery this Friday. We end it with a kiss.